Bob Jenkins and Mike Joy ready for the start of the Azalea 150 here at Martinsville, Virginia. Here is the starting lineup. On the pole in car number 99 with a new track record here this afternoon is Jeff Bodine. Car number 99, the new qualifying record 96.172. 19.673 seconds around this 1/2 mile track.
Bodine, a 7-time winner on this racetrack, and he will be quick on the start.
Outside row number 1 in car number 3, Ron Bouchard.
Not a lot of money in this car, but an awful lot of engineering. Car owner Lenny Bowler makes up in experience what others do with cash.
In the second row, inside, car number 1, driven by Ray Hendrick.
The Richmond, Virginia driver is known as Mr. Modified in the potent Dick Armstrong Pinto. Hendrick has 20 wins here at Martinsville in his career.
Jerry Cook will start outside row number 2 in car number 38.
Cook is a 6-time NASCAR national champ.
In row number 3 this afternoon, starting on the inside, will be Maynard Troyer in car number 17, a black car. Watch for it.
Troyer has never won here, but his chassis are under half the cars in this field.
Outside of the third row will be Paul Radford in car number 18.
And Radford's another 7-time Martinsville winner.
In the fourth row, car number 41, driven by Greg Sachs.
Hard charger in a car that George Kent drove here to victory a couple of years ago.
And alongside will be George Kent in number 26. In the fifth row, on the inside, will be car number 07, driven by Don Satch Worley.
3-time winner here and a local favorite.
76 car will be driven by John Blewett. He starts outside row number 5.
We mentioned Blewett at the top of the show. He's aggressive and a hard charger.
Billy's brother Philip Smith will start inside of row number 6. The car number is 14. In the outside of row number 6 position will be Billy Hensley in car number 22. In row number 7 on the inside will be Billy Middleton in car number 46. Outside, Al Hill driving car number 70. In row number 8, Rod Spaulding driving car number 28, and Neil Bonnett, a Grand National driver in number 25.
Bonnett, an established star. It's his first ride in the beautiful Don Flynn Pinto. See what he can do with it.
In the 9th row will be the younger brother of Jeff Bodine, Brett Bodine, in car number 4. Outside, Gail Barber in car number 01. In the 10th row, car number 6, driven by Don Smith, and Johnny Johnson outside of row number 10 in car number 19. In the 11th row will be car number 64, driven by Melvin Chilton, and number 79, Roger Hill, as the cars come down the main straightaway here on their warm-up lap. In the 12th row, car number 69, Frank Biddle, and 47, Rick Webster. In the 13th row, Frankie Schneider in car number 66, and Bubba Beck in 63.
Schneider's still going at it. He was the 1952 NASCAR national champ.
In the 14th row, John Lane in number 37 and Melvin Swisher in 36. In row number 15, car number 61, driven by Richie Evans, and number 10, Bob Park, and Evans will be starting this race this afternoon.
He is the 4-time national champ and a 7-time winner here, and he'll be the man to watch. Evans scrambling from the back of the pack. There is probably nobody better at climbing up through traffic than Richie Evans.
NASCAR modified racing about to get underway here this afternoon. There is Richie Evans in car number 61. It's an orange car. He starts from the last row, and we'll be watching him throughout the afternoon try to move up through the pack. 150 laps to go here on this 1/2 mile track. The cars come down the main straightaway, are being given the signal by the flagman, and the green is out. We are underway with the Azalea 150 at Martinsville, Virginia. Into turn number 1, the pole sitter, Jeff Bodine, drops into the lead as the cars go through turn number 2 onto the backstretch.
Sharp move by Ron Bouchard, the blue number 3, the second place car. The inside is the place to run here at Martinsville in the early going, and Bouchard went right to the bottom of the racetrack to take that second spot.
Bouchard running in second position, and running third would be Ray Hendrick in car number 1 as they complete the first lap here at Martinsville. Everybody safe in lap number 1.
Maynard Troyer has the 4th spot. Running 5th is Jerry Cook. 6th is Paul Radford as we watch Jeff Bodine, the White Tornado, and Evans scrambles up through the pack. He has already gone by 8 race cars after starting 30th.
Evans using the inside of the racetrack there in turn number 3 to move up through some slower traffic. Now the lead car continues to be Jeff Bodine in number 1. He heads down the backstretch into turn number 3. Still running in second position is car number 3, Ron Bouchard. Ray Hendrick in number 1 is running in third position, and Maynard Troyer in 17 runs 4th.
Hendrick in the red number 1 car keeps trying. Ron Bouchard on the inside, but Bouchard driving car number 3, a Chevette body, tries to hold Hendrick off. Hendrick dives inside, and Bouchard slams the door in his face.
And Hendrick unable to get around there to take over second place. Already we have some lapping beginning here on lap number 4. The slower cars being lapped by the leader at this point, Jeff Bodine in the white car number 1.
This half-mile track is so small it's tough to get a lap down early. That's why Evans must really be sharp if he's going to scramble his way from the back of the field. There is Evans. He's now moving up into 17th position after starting back in 30th slot on the grid. He's a man on the move.
Well, that's of course the big story here this afternoon, as Evans had problems during the qualification run and had to start in the last row, but he is moving up and moving up quickly.
Jeff Bodine working lap traffic. You can see how narrow this track is, the confines. Evans has to be really careful coming up through traffic, and you see he does most of his passing on the inside. That's the fast way around here, and if you can get under a car at Martinsville, you can get by.
The leader continues to be Jeff Bodine in car number 99. Bodine from Pleasant Garden, North Carolina. The body on the car is a Pinto. He brings that car down the backstretch and now completes lap number 7 here at Martinsville.
You can see the Pinto in these cars, Bob, in the roof line, in the doors, and in the deck lids and rear quarter panels. But otherwise, all of the sheet metal is homemade. And that's about the only Ford part on the car is that Pinto body. Here's Richie Evans, the national champ again, working race traffic and moving up on hometown favorite Billy Hensley in the Plymouth Arrow automobile. As Bodine continues to extend his lead on Ray Hendrick and Ron Bouchard, with Hendrick having moved into the second spot.
Hendrick was able to get around Bouchard a couple of laps ago, and now Ray Hendrick drives in number 2 position. Bodine in number 99 continues to lead here as he too go around some of the slower cars. Not yet a yellow flag. Usually during this type of race on such a tight racetrack and with this many cars starting, we usually see a yellow by this time.
Oh,
but we have not. But now we have.
Turn 3, Ray Hendricks has spun the number 1 car between turn 3 and 4. The caution is out as the Dick Armstrong Pinto that was just completed yesterday afternoon sits crossways on the racetrack. Everybody has gotten by as the caution flag flies for the first time. The engine in this car was not installed until 9 o'clock last night. There's Hendrick moving away from the spin. He did not contact another car or the cement retaining wall as Hendrick continues.
Hendrick was running in second position when that spin occurred down in turn number 3. He is, however, able to get the car back under its own power and will undoubtedly stay in the race. The
story from the pits.
Set to get back to green flag racing as the Pontiac safety car heads for pit road. The white Tornado, the Phil Chevrolet Pinto, wrenched by Billy Taylor, designed, built, engineered, and wheeled by Jeff Bodine. Transplanted New Yorker, now in North Carolina, and on the restart. Ron Bouchard is right on his bumper.
Bouchard is trying to get around here coming out of turn number 2, but it looks like Bodine will be able to hold him off. The cars go down the backstretch. Nose to tail, running in third position, Maynard Troyer in car number 17. Here they are off of turn number 4, onto the main straightaway to complete lap number 15. It's still Jeff Bodine.
Bodine's car well financed and well engineered. He's one of the best chassis men in the business, in addition to being a tremendously intense, aggressive, and talented driver. Bouchard running in the second spot, just move up to the elite Grand National ranks, and he's back for a return engagement with the modified car. Less than a car length separating the leaders as Ron Bouchard tracks down Jeff Bodine into turn number 3 on the beautiful half-mile Martinsville Speedway. Richie Evans, the orange car at the back of that pack, climbing his way up through traffic. Evans is on the ramble, and he's now just trailing Neil Bonnett driving the Don Flynn car in heavy, heavy race traffic. They're already running for a top 10 position, and remember, Evans started back in 30th.
Rest on the...
Back up front, Bodine and Ron Bouchard continue to play the cat and mouse game. Bodine is not a driver prone to mistake. He'll run lap after lap consistently, and Bouchard must hope for some kind of error on the part of Bodine in order to get the lead away. Bodine coming off the turn, you'll see he's got a little bit more power and can stretch things out, and Bouchard will have to dive into the turn deeper to stay with him. That puts more of a stress on brakes and on tires for Bouchard's car, and over 100 trouble up in turn 4. Neil Bonnett has bounced off the wall, but the green flag stays on And Bodine at the other end of the racetrack when that brief incident occurred remains unaffected and continues with Ron Bouchard trying to run him down.
And we see some smoke now coming from Neil Bonnett's car as he goes down the backstretch. And Bonnett may be in trouble in some way. We can see a lot of smoke coming off of that right rear tire.
He's got a tire rubbing, Bob. When he clipped the wall up there in turn number 4, it produced that bit of smoke, and he'll have to put the Don Flynn car onto pit road.
We continue to watch Jeff Bodine as the leader here in the Azalea 150. Bodine running in front of the second place car, Ron Bouchard. And it looks like that Neil Bonnett in the number 25 car is coming into the pit area.
That's a beautifully turned out machine for the Don Flynn stables. It's a Maynard Troyer chassis, like many in the field, and Bonnett, who wheels the Wood Brothers Mercury on the Grand National Circuit, said he was going to have some fun with his car today. Apparently his enjoyment will be short-lived.
Bonnett's also a Pinto, and he qualified this afternoon at 91.137 miles an hour, good enough for the outside starting position in row number 8.
Richie Evans at the right side of your screen has moved up into the 12th position after coming from the tail end of the field. Evans has scrambled up to 12th spot as he laps by the Gail Barber machine. But those front 10 are going to be tough customers. They include, of course, Bodine, the leader, Ron Bouchard, Maynard Troyer, Greg Sachs, and George Kent, along with Jungle John Blewett, Paul Radford, Satch Worley, and Brett Bodine. Then comes Billy Hensley, the hometown favorite, and Richie Evans in the 12th position.
And that is the official word from timing and scoring. Evans in 12th position, and he continues to move up, going down the backstretch, going around another car, and perhaps picking up into 11th position. Here is the leader, meanwhile, Jeff Bodine in the number 99, bringing the car off of the second turn. He has completed 25 laps. This is a 150-lap race. We thought, yes, we do have a problem in turn number 2.
One car is spun in turn number 2, has come around, and that will bring out the second caution of the day as the driver backs it up down the back straightaway. Don Smith of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, put the Coble Coins Monza around, facing the wrong way at turn number 2. We have our second break from the action.
And the green flag is out once again. We're back to racing here at Martinsville. 28 laps have been completed. Jeff Bodine continues to be your leader with Ron Bouchard running in second position. Shown in third position right now, Greg Sachs in number 41, then Maynard Troyer in 17 as the cars streak down the backstretch.
Look at the lead that Bodine has built up on the restart. You talk about whiplash acceleration. These cars were doing about 40 on the pace lap, and Bodine quickly had it up to over 100 miles an hour down the front stretch as the flag dropped.
Bodine takes that car down the backstretch now and continues to stretch out his lead. And there is also quite a bit of distance between the second place car and the third place car. Sachs at number 41 running third at this point, and Richie Evans continues to move up.
Evans is knocking on the door of a top 10 spot. He's still in that 12th position and now goes inside of Billy Hensley as Evans continues to rack and ramble and work his way up through this field. Ron Bouchard at the right of your screen, car number 3, maintaining that second place deficit. There is Evans moving up on a lap car, and then up on Brett Bodine, Jeff Bodine, the leader's younger brother, who runs in the 10th spot.
Mike, the NASCAR Modifieds have already competed here this year in the Dogwood Classic, and what a finish that was. You were here to see it.
Evans and Bodine came off the 4th turn of the last lap. Metal clanged, and Richie Evans rode the wall, the retaining wall you see there, where the Martinsville Speedway is painted on the wall. Evans rode the top of that, crashed back down to earth on 3 wheels right at the checkered flag, won the race. Bodine was second. Both cars were near totally destroyed from the firewall forward.
Well, there's always exciting racing in the NASCAR Modified Division. We're seeing some here this afternoon as Jeff Bodine continues to move out ahead of Ron Bouchard. Now, the distance is almost a half a straightaway. The distance between Bodine and Bouchard. Greg Sachs in car number 41 continues to run in third position.
And Sachs is closing in on runner-up Ron Bouchard. Here's Evans and Brett Bodine. Young Brett, Jeffrey's younger brother, driving that orange and white number 4 Quality Metals Pinot. Evans takes it way wide there, trying to get the handle on the fast way around Brett Bodine. That's 10th and 11th position. In this type of racing, sometimes the action is just as hot in the back of the pack as it is up front.
Still a lot of race traffic out there on the Martinsville Speedway. We started 30 cars. Most of them are still out there in competition at this time, with 35 laps having been completed here.
Well, on a half-mile racetrack, the field strings out so quickly. There is traffic at every turn. it's almost impossible to get any free racing room to try to make a pass on another car without having to use the lap traffic. But Bodine has found that freedom. He's all by himself in the lead, and the race is for second spot between Ron Bouchard and Greg Sachs.
Those two cars head into turns number 1 and 2, and it's virtually a nose-to-tail and side-by-side race as they go down the backstretch. Bouchard ahead of Sachs right now.
Good battle for second spot as there's Richie Evans underneath Brett Bodine, and Evans powers his way to the 10th spot, sneaking underneath Brett Bodine in the corner.
37 laps have been completed here at Martinsville. Bodine still is shown as the
Richie Evans now working up underneath the 07 of Don Satch-Worley. And this is for 9th spot. Evans works him over, runs just inches off the back bumper of Worley's car. The D&J Crane Service Pinto, like many of these cars, they have local sponsorship. There goes Evans. He got a good jump off the turn, got to the inside, and he snookers the spot away from Satch-Worley.
Here they come off of turn number 4, and Evans has picked up another position here. This is by far the best race on the speedway at this point, as Bodine has a rather comfortable lead at this point. We're watching Richie Evans, who started in the last row, pick off the cars in front of him and move toward the front, and he's picked off another one.
Evans was 8th. He is now 7th. He's gone by Paul Radford, and the next man he has to contend with, Jungle John Blewett in the Spirit of 76 machine. These two drivers contesting the NASCAR National Championship. Blewett can take up a lot of racetrack, and if anybody can find his way by Evans, is the master at working his way through traffic and gaining positions. But you can see he is taking his time with John Blewett. Evans goes to the outside.
As they go into turn number 1, he got him.
Uncharacteristic move. You do most of your passing here on the bottom, and Blewett jealously guarding the low groove.
And so Richie Evans continues to move up here. It's a long race, 150 miles. He has moved up into 6th position at this time. The leader continues to be Bodine, but he is not in any kind of a race at all. The race here is with Richie Evans, about to pass another one.
That's George Kent, the yellow number 26 machine. Kent is running in the 5th position, so Evans has scrambled from 30th starting spot all the way up to knocking on the door of the top 5 in just 40 laps. And Evans has the power of that Ron Hutter motor that carries him down. He's loose.
Oh, he's almost got the rear end around, but saved it amazingly so in turn number 2.
Cost him 3 positions. Richie just went in a little too hard, and he has now dropped back behind Paul Radford, and that will drop Evans all the way back to 8th position once again. So the road to the front is by no means an easy road for Richie Evans.
Well, the leader continues to be Jeff Bodine in car number 99. He started on the pole position here this afternoon and has led all the way. Now running in 2nd position is Greg Sachs in car number 41. 41 Sachs has moved into 2nd position, and dropping back into 3rd is Ron Bouchard. Running in 4th would be the number 17 of Maynard Troyer, and running in 5th position would be car number 26, George Kent.
We look at Bodine again, continuing to work race traffic and unconcerned about the terrific battle behind him as Richie Evans tries to come up through the field. Bodine working up on Billy Hensley, one of the top 10 cars. That shows you the pace that Bodine is setting as he's about to put laps on some of the top 10 runners. But Evans continues to have his hands full. He's gotten by Paul Radford once again, and Evans is outside of John Blewett. And once again, it is Richie Evans and Jungle John Blewett as Bodine puts a lap on Billy Hensley. Well, there is Evans now tracking down George Kent. This is where we were just a couple of laps ago, where Evans took it in too hard and too deep and almost lost the car, and we have trouble in turn 4. A car has stopped up against the wall.
Up high on the racetrack, I am unable to see the number.
That's
I believe
Rick Webster in car number 47 as the caution is out again, and you see Richie Evans, who has a chance perhaps to rethink his strategy on how to get by 5th place George Kent.
And the green is out once again. We're back to racing with 52 laps under our belt, about a third of the way through this race here at Martinsville, and Richie Evans now is running in 5th position.
Make that 4th, Bob. Evans is one of the quickest men in the country on the restart, and his orange number 61 Pinto body modified snuck under Maynard Troyer on the restart, and Evans now rolls along in the 4th spot, the defending 4-time NASCAR national champion. knocking on the back door of Ron Bouchard for third.
And we have a good race shaping up there for second, third, and fourth positions. Here is Jeff Bodine, your leader in number 99. The real race, though, is for second, third, and fourth as those three cars come off of the fourth turn onto the main straightaway here. Running in second position is Sachs in number 41. Bouchard in 3 right behind him, and then Evans in 61.
Greg Sachs. There goes Evans to the inside. He's got Ron Bouchard, and look at the power Evans has in the backstretch. He's got the inside. Bouchard, though, is Mr. Outside. He can run the high side, but he just can't hold with Richie Evans. And Evans, in a slick move, is now up to third. We'll see what he can do with Greg Sachs.
Great wheel-to-wheel racing in these NASCAR modifieds. Here now is Evans down the backstretch. Can he go around the second-place car of Sachs? Here is a car that has slowed on the main straightaway. It's car number 37, driven by Chip Lane, and that could lead to a yellow. Yes, it does. Yellow remains out. We anticipate the green next time around. Let's run down the top 10. Here's Mike.
Jeff Bodine has led from the opening green flag, the white with the orange inside. That's a pinto-bodied modified silver numeral number 99. Greg Sachs in a similar looking machine, number 41, rides in the second position. A national champ, Richie Evans, in the big orange pinto, runs in the third spot. Ron Bouchard with a Chevette-bodied car, number 3, is the fourth place machine. In the black, sinister-looking number 17, Black Bandit, that's Maynard Troyer of Rochester, New York. The red, white, and blue number 76 of John Blewett from New Jersey has the 6th spot. Satch Worley from Virginia in the orange 07 rides in 7th. 6-time national champ Jerry Cook from Rome, New York is 8th. Paul Radford, a 7 times Martinsville winner, is 9th. And 10th is Jeff's younger brother, Brett Bodine. As Harold Kinder on the flag stand drops the green, Bodine stands on it. And look at Evans right on the bottom of the racetrack. Evans gets underneath Greg Sachs. On the restart, he made the move.
Richie Evans is running in second position. He now sets his sights on the leader, Jeff Bodine, as the cars head down the backstretch. It is Evans right on the back bumper of Bodine in turns number 3 and 4. Here they are off of the turn onto the main straightaway. Still Evans right behind Bodine.
And the fans here love it. They're looking for a rematch of a race from last month. This would be the rematch of the title bout. In that one, a 250-lapper. Evans crashed to the finish on 4 wheels after he and Bodine tangled right there at turn 4, heading for the checkered flag. Bodine had led 220 of the race's 250 laps, and Evans, dogged determinedly, just as he is right now, tracked him down to that grinding, crashing, spectacular finish. It could happen again.
And here is Evans now moving to the inside as the cars go into turn number 3, but still cannot get around. It's still Bodine, Evans, Sachs, and Bouchard in that order as we complete lap number 65.
Look at Evans bring the car right to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for room underneath Bodine. But Jeffrey keeps the car tight, the number 99 machine. He'll stay as low in the turn as possible, down on the asphalt. And Evans hangs right with it.
And again, we mentioned in the beginning of the show, but we'll mention it again, there is a concrete surface on the inside and an asphalt surface on the outside of that turn, making for some tremendous tire wear at times. Now Bodine continues to lead here with Evans again pulling right up on the back bumper of the car as they come off of turn number 4, completing lap number 67, and the car is beginning to lap some of the slower traffic once again.
Things may settle down a bit in this up-front battle. Both these drivers have to conserve tire wear for the finish, so I won't be surprised to watch Evans just sit and drift along a couple of inches off Bodine's back bumper. He'll fade inside as he is right now. He'll swing high, look to the outside, and just try to keep Bodine guessing, try to get him to make a mistake.
We're now seeing a distance between the second car of Richie Evans and the third place car of Greg Sachs. Sachs and the fourth place car of Ron Bouchard are running fairly close together on the racetrack. Then somewhat of a distance before the fifth place car of Maynard Troyer. Your leader continues to be Jeff Bodine, though, and here he is passing car number 66, one of the slower cars, Frank Schneider.
Look at the aerodynamic advances on these cars, the low dive plates, the droop snouts on the cars that sweep under the front bumper to channel the air through the radiator. And there's a big, huge rear deck spoiler to try to keep that back end on the ground. It's made out of clear plexiglass because if it were painted the same color as the car, the drivers would not be able to see out the back. That's how high that spoiler is. As these cars are traveling down the straightaways at about 120 miles an hour and doing about 80 through the turns. And that's faster than a light plane needs to be going to take off. So aerodynamics is very, very important. to getting the extra couple of hundredths of a second in lap times that these cars need.
We're watching these cars compete here this afternoon on a 1/2 mile paved and concrete surface racetrack. But Mike, these cars compete on just about any kind of surface and any size racetrack there is.
Tracks range from the 5th mile brutal bull ring at Islip, Long Island, New York, all the way up to the 1.5 miles at Trenton, New Jersey. They compete on a wide variety of paved surfaces, some flat, some banked as much as 24 degrees. And the drivers have infinitely adjustable suspensions on these cars, spring rates and sway bars, and weight transfer that they can adjust to adapt to just about any kind of track condition.
And now we see a little bit of a distance open up between the first and second place cars of Bodine and Richie Evans, but Evans is still hanging in there and not letting Bodine getting too far ahead.
We're just at the halfway point in this race, and there is a lot of distance between them. That is partly due to the traffic. You've got to be very careful on this narrow racetrack in picking your way through race traffic, because if two of these open wheels touch, somebody is going to go flying. That's what happened here last month in the Dogwood 500 that produced that grinding finish. But notice that Evans is not letting Bodine get too far ahead.
We are just about halfway through this race, and perhaps we can call upon Ned Jarrett to give his impressions of what the strategy is going to be from this point on, the second half of the race. Ned?
Well, Bob, he caught him relatively easy with the help of those caution flags, but I don't think that he can afford to sit there too long, because Bodine will develop himself a pattern that would be very, very tough for him to ever pass. Of course, I'm sure that their little thing at the end of the last race that they had here is bearing on both of their minds, and neither of them wants to do anything that's going to cause that to come about again. But I believe that Evans needs to go ahead and pass him and run away if he possibly can, but he knows that he has a tough job to do.
I wonder about that strategy, Ned, at this juncture in the race. If Richie Evans uses up his brakes and tires getting by Bodine now, what will he have left?
I could not hear when he was coming to me.
Well, perhaps we can call upon that a little later for an observation on that. Meanwhile, the two lead cars are now in turns number 1 and 2, having completed 78 laps. Again, they're right together on the racetrack. Running in third position continues to be Ron Bouchard. In third position is Sachs, and in fourth position is Bouchard in car number 3. There is Sachs and Bouchard battling in turns 3 and 4.
These are two drivers that hope for Grand National careers. Greg Sachs in that white maroon striped number 41 car flipped a car at Daytona early this year and has not been back on the Grand National circuit. Bodine, though, has picked up the Race Hill Farms Grand National ride, and as we said earlier, he's sort of on holiday running in this race, because as we watch up front, the kind of move that Richie Evans will have to make on Jeff Bodine is going to be a tough one, because the kind of move you get a chance to make only once. And Evans tried it last month here with just 2 laps to go. He's going to have to work so hard to get by Bodine, there's not going to be much of that race car left to run the other 60 laps or so to the finish.
Well, he has done such an outstanding job to this point, having picked off 29 other competitors, having started in last position. He's worked himself up to second position, but as Mike indicated, it isn't going to be easy getting around the leader. Shades of Tom Sneva's performance in the Indianapolis 500 last year when he started in last position and finished second in the race.
On the other hand, Bob, Richie Evans is not a wait-and-see driver. It must really be eating at him to sit there and watch Jeff Bodine's back bumper. There's an intense rivalry between these two racers. For the last 5 years, at tracks all up and down the East Coast, they have competed one-on-one, heads up, and usually out of any 30-car field. Chances are one of these two racers would be the victor, and it appears that today will be no different. Their driving styles are similar, very aggressive, and very, in fact, jealously protective of a lead.
And they've driven a smart race to this point.
Trouble up in turn 1. 2 cars are into the fence. That is Paul Radford, 7-time Martinsville winner, who has crashed into the fence at turn number 1, and the car he's involved with is Jungle John Blewett, the number 76 machine out of New Jersey. Blewett, who intended to contest the national championship with Richie Evans, as we forewarned at the top of the show. If there's going to be action in Martinsville, chances are old Jungle John is going to be right in the thick of it. Last month here, Blewett, whose 76 car is parked facing wrong way on the racetrack, was involved in 2 controversial bumper bangers, one of which sent 3 cars out of the race, and the other of which, if you can believe, happened under the caution flag, had another car ending up stuffed into the concrete. We look at Paul Radford. in his mid-40s, one of the senior men on the circuit. Looking at the damage, you can see Radford's car into the wall. As Blewett on the right side of your screen had already spun, and just sneaking through is the 07 of Satch Worley, who did a tremendous job of avoiding that incident. There's John Blewett. Jungle John, they call him, the Peck's bad boy of modified racing. We asked Blewett last month if he considered himself a banger, and if you ever hit a guy or bump him to get out of the way, and he says, well, only if he's in your way. It's a unique approach, perhaps, to modified racing, and unfortunately, Blewett will end up his spectacular day on the back end of the wrecker.
By the way, Mike, that accident involved the 7th and 8th place cars here in this race, so they obviously were battling for position, and both are now eliminated from the competition. Obviously, neither driver injured. They're both out of their cars.
There's Satch Worley's car. That air cleaner, that brass and chrome air cleaner, shows about the center point on the engine. It's located about a foot behind the front wheels, and that gives the car very excellent weight distribution. By contrast, your passenger car engine sits right up about even with the center line of the front wheels. The driver, of course, sits back almost at the rear wheels, kind of like a slingshot dragster, but it provides the car's excellent weight distribution. And here, as we look at Blewett's car, again you see the extreme offset. The car is built almost entirely over the left side wheels to get as much of the weight toward the inside of the racetrack as possible. It leaves the right side wheels hanging in the breeze, and perhaps that is the type of contact that contributed to this spin involving 7-time Martinsville winner Paul Radford and up-and-comer New Jersey driver John Blewett.
Let's go immediately to Ned down in the pit area. The green flag is out. Ned?
Well, the green flag is out, but the reason for this caution, John Blewett and Paul Radford tangled. John, what happened over there?
Well, we didn't exactly tangle. I blew my motor, and then Paul slid in my oil afterwards.
You were one of the few running a small block engine in here in this race. Was that maybe what caused it to blow?
I don't think so. Just something broke and couldn't take it.
Well, John, you're making an attempt to win the national championship. This will sort of hurt.
Well, it's all going to hurt.
Well, better luck next time around. Now back to the green flag racing.
The car on pit road is Greg Sachs. On the opening restart, Sachs got up into turn 2, up in the speedy dry. The car stopped, and he is on pit road in the backstretch. They're jacking up the right side, and Bob, it looks as if he may have lost a tire.
Tough luck for the 4th place car here this afternoon. Greg Sachs doing a tremendous job, hanging right in there with the leaders, but he's going to lose some valuable time here this afternoon at this point. Now the 3rd place car will be the Ron Bouchard number 3, and Maynard Troyer now running in 4th position.
The car pulls in as the white tornado of Jeff Bodine heads for the line on the restart.
And down the straightaway, the green flag is being displayed. We are back to racing once again. Bodine and Evans now go back to their battle for 1st position into turn number 2. Off of it down the backstretch. It is still Jeff Bodine maintaining about a 5-car advantage over Richie Evans. And look at Bouchard move up.
You saw Ron Bouchard drop right to the bottom of the racetrack to try to get by some lap traffic. There is still one lap car separating Bouchard from the front duo. It's that red machine, the number 46 of Billy Middleton. And Bouchard will have to contend with Middleton before he can chase the leader.
The cars stream through turn number 2 now as we have completed 105 laps. Earlier we talked to Ron Bouchard about getting back into modified racing from the Grand National circuit. He says he likes it a lot better in modifieds.
Okay. At this racetrack, it's usually the tires will give up first. If you run too hard and the chassis is not just right, you'll burn up a tire.
Okay.
That is exactly what we were talking about on Richie Evans' car. And Bouchard did quite a bit of work getting by that lap machine, and he'll put some wear and tear on the car, trying to get up to challenge the front 2. And here we are, right back where we were, some 20 laps to go. With 43 laps left to run, it is Bodine and Evans, a familiar show to these NASCAR modified race fans. And there's 3rd place Ron Bouchard.
Mike, we commented while the yellow was out a few minutes ago that the fact that we have had 6 yellow lights now, and that probably Bodine is in no serious problem as far as fuel is concerned. He's probably able to go the distance now. We've had several laps under the yellow.
I would think so, but it is rather a close call. 160 laps on a tank of gas is just about the limit for these cars. Here's a great race. Maynard Troyer in the Black Bandit leading Jerry Cook and the Ray Hendrick machine. Very close running, and the fans here, these Virginia race fans, they're pulling for Hendrick, and he is in the middle of that 3-car sandwich.
Back onto the backstretch, it is still Maynard Troyer maintaining the lead here into turn number 3 now. That is the battle for 4th position at this moment. Here they are on the main straightaway. Still Maynard Troyer in that black number 17 maintaining the 4th position. But right behind him is Cook in turn number 2.
Jerry Cook looks to the inside. He appears to be handling a little better than Troyer, but Troyer can pull him down the straightaway, and Mr. Modified Hendrick in the red, white numeral, Dick Armstrong, number 1 car, is right there to take advantage of any type of bobble. There goes Cook to the inside.
But unable to get around in turn number 1, and he settles back now into 5th position. We're seeing as we follow the cars around the fact that it looks like there isn't hardly anybody attending this race here today. There are seats all around this half-mile racetrack, and there are no spectators in the seats back on the backstretch, but the stands are virtually full here on the front straightaway. A great crowd here watching a tremendous race at this beautiful Martinsville, Virginia Speedway.
4th place battle once again with Troyer, Cook, and Evans. We go right back up front. Evans and Bodine racing for the lead, and Richie Evans begins to put the pressure on. He dives low. There goes Bodine, and slam goes the door right in Richie Evans' face as they get into the turn.
And we've completed 113 laps now. This will complete lap number 114 as they come around. They're in turn number 3, and it looks like that Bodine got a little bit squirrely there and high on the racetrack. Evans moved up, but still could not get around. Here they are on the main straightaway. It's still Bodine maintaining that advantage.
Now we're into no-holds-barred running now. Richie Evans is giving it all he's got. Evans punches the button on his Ron Hunter motor, and Evans underneath. He's got room. Bodine has to come up one groove. Evans has the room on the bottom of the racetrack. They come off the turn, dead even.
Side by side across the finish line. Here they are in turn number 1, and Bodine gets out into the lead now as we have some tremendous racing going on here as they get on the backstretch, and Bouchard has now moved up into 2nd.
Ronnie Bouchard covered the spot. When Evans went to the bottom of the racetrack, Bouchard went high, and Evans got boxed in behind a lap car, and snick, Ron Bouchard jumped right into the 2nd spot. Heads up racing.
It's a 3-car race, and they're side by side. Here is Evans on the inside trying to get around Bouchard as they go down the backstretch, and Evans still side by side into turn number 3. Oh, what a tremendous race.
Watch Bodine use the lap traffic. He will box Evans in behind the lap car. Evans will have to scramble. Bouchard has to give him room, and they still stay 3 cars in a flying wedge. This time it's Evans off the turn.
And Richie Evans is going to be the leader here as they go down the backstretch. It's been Bodine for every lap to this point. We've completed 118, but now it is Richie Evans that will be shown as the leader for lap number 119.
You've just seen that the high groove at Martinsville is not the fast way around. Jeff Bodine got caught up on the high side and found himself drop-kicked back to the 3rd spot, and in fact, 4th place Maynard Troyer is closing in on Bodine. Now, tenuous 3rd position.
Here is your leader, Richie Evans, and the 2nd place car, Ron Bouchard, into turn number 1. Still a tremendous race here, and we have seen Richie Evans come from the last starting position to the lead, and now a battle is really shaping up for 3rd position. That involves Bodine and Maynard Troyer.
Troyer goes to the outside on the white tornado of Bodine, cuts back to the inside, the black bandit car of Troyer. Look at the jostling for lanes and for position. Everybody looking for the advantage as Troyer comes up on the outside of Bodine.
Could Bodine have suffered some kind of a mechanical problem when he dropped back there during that pass?
The car is still, it's very loose off the turn, Bob, and he may have worn up that right rear tire as Troyer goes by into the 3rd spot, and 4th is Jerry Cook.
Perhaps Ned Jarrett can bring us some more information on that situation. Ned?
The crew chief on Jeff Bodine's car number 99, and he says the right rear tire is going flat on that car.
It is flat. He spins. Bodine spins at turn number 4. The white tornado goes around as Bodine has used up the right rear tire, so critical to the handling of these modified machines. He'll have to scramble to get to the pits and get it changed in order to keep from going a lap down. Here comes Evans up behind him, the leader. Evans will not put a lap on Bodine. He'll have a chance to get that tire changed and get back into action, and this time it will be Bodine to come up from the back of the field.
The green flag is back out now as Richie Evans takes over the lead after having gone around a spinning Jeff Bodine, or actually went around Bodine before the spin occurred. But Richie Evans is in the lead, but he's being challenged, and challenged very strongly by Ron Bouchard in the blue number 3.
Well, this has now become just a 25-lap heat race. It's a Saturday night special. no holds barred, pull out all the stops, and go for the glory. Evans at the front where he's accustomed to being, and Ron Bouchard just there knocking on the door. Ahead of Maynard Troyer, Jerry Cook, Ray Hendrick, and Brett Bodine.
Satch Worley will be shown in 7th position in car number 07. So the battle now between Evans in the 61 and Bouchard in the number 3. The cars go into turn number 1. They're still nose to tail on the racetrack as they go down the backstretch. Richie Evans, a tremendous job of driving here this afternoon, is showing the way.
Jeff Bodine is back, but he's about a third of a lap behind the field as he and Greg Sachs trying to come up through race traffic. We watch the battle for the lead. Richie Evans, there's Bodine working his way up through. He's got Gale Barber ahead of him and the Greg Sachs car as the White Tornado storms back to the front of the field. Evans had to do it at the start of the race. Can Bodine do it now with just about 21 laps remaining? There is Richie Evans, the Rapid Roman, they call him, from Rome, New York. The defending and 4-time NASCAR national champion. In 2nd spot, Ron Bouchard, the defending Stafford Motor Speedway champion from Connecticut, who will not defend that title because he's gone Grand National Racing for 1981.
Well, we'll watch Jeff Bodine in the middle of the pack, but for right now, Evans has all he can contend with that 2nd place car of Ron Bouchard.
There is Bodine and Greg Sachs. Bodine goes to the outside of Sachs, makes it look easy. He's climbing up through the field and unofficially is now posted in the 8th position. He is about a third of a lap behind Richie Evans.
And Sachs, the number 41 car, who is running well up in the standings earlier in the race, has again pitted for some mechanical problems that are obviously plaguing that car.
Tire problems earlier on Greg Sachs. There's the 1-2 battle left of your screen, and up, they called it a day on the Greg Sachs machine.
Number 41 of Greg Sachs. It looks like it's all over for the afternoon in the Azalea 150, with now 135 laps completed. Richie Evans continues to lead, and in 2nd position, Ron Bouchard in the number 3. Maynard Troyer in number 17 is showing in 3rd position.
This time by just 15 laps to go. Bouchard hanging close, but Evans is getting a good bite off the turns. He's got a lot of engine, and Ronnie is really going to have to be sharp to pull a move on Evans, one of the masters of modified racing. He won 44 races last year, 2nd among all stock car drivers in the country in feature wins.
The distance between the leader Richie Evans and Jeff Bodine is now about a half a lap, so he's going to have to make up a lot of racetrack here this afternoon if he's going to pull back up into contention. Bodine led the early part of this race. He was passed by Richie Evans, and now Evans continues to lead here late in this 150-lap race at Martinsville.
13 laps to go for the Big Orange. The Gene DeWitt Pinto, a stable of racing cars, kept them at Pavilion, New York, and raced to the last 3 consecutive NASCAR national championships by Richie Evans.
And Richie Evans continues to lead this 150-lap race. This is Bob Jenkins along with Mike Joy bringing you the Azalea 150 for NASCAR Modifieds. Just a little more than 9 laps to go here this afternoon before Richie Evans can take home another victory. His challenger at the moment is the number 3 Ron Bouchard car, but there is about a 6 or 8 car difference between the 1st and 2nd place machines.
A win here would put Evans 2nd on the all-time Martinsville win list behind Ray Hendrick. Hendrick currently running 5th, and the car number 1 has 20 Martinsville wins. Richie Evans could pick up his 8th this afternoon. That would break him out of a tie with Jeff Bodine, Paul Radford, Jerry Cook, and Bug Stevens, all tied with 7 career Martinsville victories apiece.
Well, to review very briefly what has happened here this afternoon, we have had 7 yellow lights and 2 leaders this afternoon. Bodine led the early going, and Richie Evans is now the leader. Here is a battle for 3rd position. It involves the number 17 of Maynard Troyer and Greg Cook.
Cook driving the 38 car, 6-time national champ. He's also from Rome, New York. In fact, between Evans and Cook, there's Cook in the red 38 car. Between Jerry Cook and Richie Evans, the NASCAR National Championship has not left Rome, New York for the past 10 years, when Fred DeCero of Hope Valley, Rhode Island turned the trick, but it's been all New York Staters since. John Blewett, trying to change all that this year, has fallen by the wayside today in his bid to challenge Evans for the national title, and Richie Evans, with 5 laps to go, has about a 6-car length margin on Ron Bouchard.
What a story here this afternoon. Richie Evans is down the backstretch into turn number 3 there, keeping the car very low on the racetrack. Here he is off of turn number 4, completing lap number 147. We have a spin with Brett Bodine losing it in turn number 3. And the yellow comes out again. Bodine in number 4, the younger brother of our earlier leader, Brett Bodine, has spun and brought out our 8th caution flag of the afternoon.
Young Brett, very personable young driver and definitely an up-and-comer, scored his first major victory this January in the New Smyrna, Florida World Series of Asphalt Racing. Aside from Bodine and Ron Bouchard, Evans just about swept that series like he has done most NASCAR modified racing and open competition racing throughout the East Coast for the last couple of years. Well, the NASCAR officials will, of course, do everything possible to get a green flag conclusion to this race, but Richie Evans has shown that he is the class of the field. Perhaps the penultimate modified driver in the country right now. Tremendously aggressive chauffeur. He designs the chassis as well on these number 61 machines and also the cars that Evans and his LG DeWitt crew sell to other racers. His crew chief, Billy Nastowitz, does all the welding on the car and a lot of the chassis setup work. Ray Spignardi, another key crew member, travels from Boston 3 times a weekend to help work on this race car, and it is without doubt the most successful modified stock car racing operation in the country, run out of Gene DeWitt shops up in Rome, New York, and Evans, the 4-time national champ, with a victory here, will add another 175 all-important points toward perhaps a 5th and 4th consecutive national driving title.
The safety car leads the field down the straightaway here, and the white flag is going to be displayed with the yellow flag also. So next time around, the checker will fall, and we will end this race under a yellow situation because of the spin involving Brett Bodine in turn number 3. The winner is going to be Richie Evans.
Well, assuming Evans doesn't just stop dead on the backstretch, he'll win this thing under caution. Here's Ron Bouchard pulling up to offer congratulations. They're 2 professionals that battle each other on a weekly basis. Evans, the top modified driver in the country, 44 feature victories last year and the NASCAR National Championship. He says after a season like that, his goal can only be to win more and to dominate more. He builds chassis, he designs race cars, and even though this race will end under caution, I don't think any of these fans can go home disappointed. They saw a tremendous charge by Evans from dead last starting spot after he could not time trial. He worked his way up midway through the field, got sideways trying to pass George Kent for the 5th spot, fell back to 8th, but picking the cars off one at a time and getting some tremendous jumps on restarts. Evans worked his way to the front of the field, got by Jeff Bodine, and clearly showed that he has dominated this race today.
It's going to be a side-by-side finish, but we are under yellow as Richie Evans is the winner of the Azalea 150 here at Martinsville, Virginia. Finishing in 2nd position right alongside will be Ron Bouchard in the number 3. I totally agree with you. The fans are not disappointed at all that this race ended under yellow. The racing that we saw at some stages on this track here was as good as you'll see anywhere. Side by side, nose to tail, and when you're side by side on a racetrack like this, that's really racing.
Well, it's a tight race track, and with these cars with the wide open wheels, any contact can result in spectacular, jarring conclusions. With 650 horsepower in cars that only weigh a little more than a ton, they've got whiplash acceleration. And Evans, to drive a car like this, you have really got to be one whale of a race driver.
Richie Evans will be pulling into the pit area, and